Hey guys, it is John and I'm back with another video about my ERide Pro SR. I'll do another video about the Yamaha R1 and some changes to that in a separate video. This one's just going to be about my ERide Pro SR. Believe it or not, I'm making this thing street legal just because there seems to be a crackdown locally here on these things. I notice when I'm filming it makes the tail light look like it's flashing, but when you look at it with the human eye, it doesn't really flash at all. But I posted on a Facebook group and also on Reddit about the street kit that I put on here to add turn signals to the bike. And there were a lot of questions and people wanted to see it work and that sort of thing. The LEDs sort of blow out the camera here on the phone, sorry about that. But if we look up here, this kit came from, well, let me go down the list here. The first thing is people ask me is, where'd you get the kit? So the kit came from streetohv.com. And it's a company that not only sells lighting kits, but also helps with plating service to take your dirt bike and make it street legal. The stock button on the handlebar that does the light blackout still works. It has its own blackout switch as well. And then you've got turn signals here. If we go to the right, you can see the turn signal on the fork leg. It animates, which is really cool. Left does the same thing. And then again, because I'm filming this with the camera, it may not do it justice, but I've got the light here on the back now. It also has a horn button, and this kit comes with its own mini harness that plugs into the harness of the SR. And so basically what you do is you unplug the headlight wire and it plugs in line with that to power the kit in its own little sub harness. It also contains, if you opt for it, a license plate bracket with a license plate light. The wires to this license plate light are incredibly tiny, so stripping those to put them into the coupler that's on the harness was pretty difficult. And one of the things that I did, which is probably going to be controversial, is I put again, it looks like it's flashing here in the video, but when I'm looking at it with the naked eye, it doesn't flash at all. I took the tail light, which has integrated signals into it, and I put it on top of the fender. Now, is that the most attractive location for it? Absolutely not. But when you look at videos that other people have put online as to where they mounted the tail light, they usually put it, down here. I've got a couple of titanium bolts here, and I'm running the custom subframe from SKR Mod. But I have to be honest with you, once I had it located here, and I looked at the bike from afar, I'm like, it's not safe. You're not gonna see those turn signals because I'm actually gonna ride it on the road. I have to go to the post office, which is like 2-3 miles away every day. And I'd love to take this thing out for a spin on the roads once I make it street legal and get it insured and plated. And, when I slowed it, let's say somebody's in a high truck and they're looking down on this thing, they're never gonna see the brake light, ever. So my next idea was to flip it and put it up here on the fender. And what I like about this solution is I can easily unbolt it from below. And then if I get another fender, which I'm planning on getting a longer SKR Mod fender, I can just drill 2 holes, bolt it on, and it's still gonna work really well and be really super visible. But trust me, it may look cool to put it underneath, but on the road, you're never ever gonna see it. So anyways, this worked out really well and I'm happy with that solution. It's an effort since the wire that goes from the harness to the brake light, it's meant for down here. So this is a little bit longer than it was originally intended for. So I ended up having to go from the headstock over the battery to have enough slack to make this work. But I'm okay with that, and it's not under any tension, so it's gonna be just fine. Now, SKR Mod just came out with their own kit. It's fairly expensive, and it involves having their seat base, their fender, and then their kit, which is like $300. It has a V-shaped billet aluminum rear brake light, which is pretty nice. It's in like a V shape. If you go to their website, you'll see it. Had I seen that before I bought this, I probably would have gone that direction. There was another question from someone on Reddit about this specific kit. Someone ordered it and all they got was a notification that the shipping label was printed, and they haven't heard anything since. I had the exact same experience, and I want to kind of break down what happened. It's not entirely the company's fault, but it was definitely a challenge, right? So I ordered the kit. It was like $160 some. And that comes with everything, right? So it was like the license plate, bracket, the tail light, the harness, the hand controls, and the turn signals on the front. Oh, by the way, these things are so goddamn bright on the fork legs that when you ride at night, it like lights up the, not as much as the headlight, but it adds a bit of extra lighting to the front. On the ground, it's actually really impressive how bright they are. You can see it just blows the camera right out. But the other thing is, if you turn both of these on, I mean, they'll both animate. It's kind of like a hazard light, which is kind of cool. So has that capability. And then the sub harness does have a connection for the horn, which is really nice. I did have an extra motorcycle horn laying around from an old R1 project, and it didn't work, so I ordered the ERide Pro 3.0 horn to go on this. And then when that horn comes in, I do have the SKR mod bracket to put the horn on the front. So this goes up in the front above the controller, and it has a 3D printed carrier here where you place the horn in it into the back here. So it goes like this. Kind of hard to do with the one hand, but you get the idea. There you go. It sits in there, and then I've got the AirTag, Apple AirTag underneath that, and it's actually built for that. So this is a cool way to integrate the AirTag and the horn all into one. Pretty stoked about that. So this will go, right above the controller, and it hooks on the bottom, and it uses the bolt hole that's already in the frame. So simple mod, and then we'll have a horn. When I dug out the entire stock harness, I was kind of surprised there actually was a horn connector in there, but there's no way to use it on the controls that come with the SR. So anyhow, yeah, it'll be cool. I'll have a horn. I already got this mirror. This is one that I just bought on Amazon. I thought it was the least goofy looking mirror that I could find. It was like 30 bucks. Pretty happy with it. It works, does the job. And so that's where we're at with the kit on this. Back to my shipping thing. So I know I got off track. Sorry about that. I do that sometimes. I bought this kit, and then I waited and I waited and I waited. I emailed them, and then I got a shipping notification that the label was printed. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be on its way pretty soon. Well, nothing happened. I didn't get any updates for like 2 weeks. And I think on the third week, I actually got the package in the mail. And when I opened it up, it only had the 2 lighting strips. The harness was gone. The box, the parts came in was gone. The license plate bracket, the taillight, none of that was in there. The only thing that was in the package was the headlight strips. And then I noticed that the USPS had stamped the outside of the envelope saying that it arrived opened. So, it was just basically, one of those common cardboard envelopes from USPS that just had the fold over adhesive on it, and that's all it had. So I was like, crap, now what? So I contacted them, and I noticed on Reddit people had said that if you have an issue with anything from streetohv.com, that you should probably use Facebook Messenger. They'll reply quicker through that. And that's what I did. And I was speaking with Ryan, who's the owner, and he said this has happened before, and they try to put tape on the envelopes so that this doesn't happen, that he would send out a new kit right away, and they would tape it up and just give me the missing parts, right? And I said, great, thank you very much. Because I was trying not to charge back my credit card at this point. I was pretty aggravated. It had been, coming up on a month. Still didn't have all the parts. And about a week later, no shipping updates, no nothing. It shows up and it had all the extra parts in it. So kind of no harm, no foul, but just know that, you know, this is probably a side business for these guys, and you're not going to get great shipping updates, because I think they're saving on the shipping by just using a standard envelope. And yeah, it takes them a while to even pick the parts and get the kits put together. So anyways, just anticipate it's going to take some time to get to you. So this is, you know, all in all, it's a little bit less expensive than the other kits that are out there. It's definitely going to do the job. Overall, I'm happy with it. I think once I get the horn on and it's completely done, I'll be tickled with it. And then the next step is to use the plating service, either streetohv.com, who does the plating service, and there's another company called dirtlegal.com, and they do the plating service as well. So there's two choices for that. And basically you pay them, they walk it through DMV. I think it's in Wyoming. There's no need for an inspection. You just have to have your manufacturer certificate of origin, which I'm pretty upset with ERide that they don't include that with the bike. I've bought Chinese dirt bikes, gas powered dirt bikes that come with an MCO, the certificate of origin, which is like a dirt bike title. And without that, you're not going to get registered for the street, really. I mean, there's ways around it, I suppose, but that's the best way. And so I did find a person at ERide Pro who is in charge of that, and I emailed them. I forget what their email address is, but I did email her, and they require a picture of the VIN on the side of the bike. They require your sales receipt and then a copy of your identification. I sent all that to them. And now I'm really just waiting around for the MCO. My guess is it probably comes from China because it's taking so long. And I really hope they get it to me here soon. If I don't get it in the mail by January, it's September, you know, when I'm posting this. But if I don't get it by January, I'm going to see ERide Pro in person at the motorcycle show in Anaheim. And they're going to get a piece of, you know, they're going to get some feedback from me for sure. Either way, I mean, I have a lot of questions for ERide Pro about some of the choices that they make. And I don't mean to beat them up, but you know, it's the way that these guys put out information and news and updates and customer service leaves a lot to be desired. It's still a great bike. I still love it. Every time I get on it, it's just a smile machine. But you know, having these lights on and the mirror and everything else, once I get this thing tagged, it's going to be so incredibly satisfying to just anybody who's a Karen, you know, that gives you shit for riding this thing, even around my neighborhood, they get upset, you know. And I'm not like riding it like a bat out of hell all the time, but it'll be great for it to be tagged and just to be like, yeah, it's legal, deal with it, you know. I don't know why some people hate e-motos, but they just really, really do. They have a total hard-on for these things. So just the satisfaction of having it street legal is going to be worth all this hassle, I think, in the end. But there you go. There's my little review of this thing. The controller's great. The LEDs are super, super freaking bright. It works well. You know, I'm happy with it overall. You know, I think it's definitely worth the money. But again, the only thing, it's weird that it flashes on the camera. The only thing that I would do, this is just me, you know, you can do what you want, but putting it on top of the fender is definitely going to be great. I mean, people are going to see that when they're behind you, especially if they're high up. If it were underneath there, you know, they're never going to see that, man. They just aren't. A lot of times people show this kit and the bike's sitting up on a stand, right? But that's not real world. You know, when you're riding the bike, it's not up on a stand. They're not going to see the brake light at all. So I think this is the best compromise I could come up with. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe. I'll keep posting more stuff. I have the horn to install. I'll show that next. Then the plate service, I'll talk about that. And then on my other channel, I'll talk about the R1 updates too, to the Yamaha R1. Thanks for watching.